Why did Brian Kelly say that? Is it money? Is it really just that? What is it, Dan?
No, it's a shot to win a national title, and this is where we're at in college football. This is an incredible move by Kelly, because there are 4 games this weekend that matter and who gets in the playoff. And Notre Dame needs like 1 or 2 results, none of which are out of line, and they would be in the playoff on Sunday. Like if Georgia beats Alabama and either Cincinnati loses, Michigan loses, or Oklahoma State loses, which again very possible, Notre Dame's going to get in this playoff, and Brian Kelly would have a playoff team for the 3rd time in 4 seasons. And this isn't like the NBA playoffs. There's only 4 teams in the playoff, okay? And so everything we've ever been told by coaches, teams, we're all in, we can do it, nobody believes in us, just give us a shot, we'll rise up. Brian Kelly is staring at that possibility and saying, yeah, I'm out. I don't care. We don't have a shot, or I'm not even going to try. And he's bailing on a potential team. If he made this move on Sunday, if Notre Dame doesn't get in and he makes this move on Sunday, totally get it. But the fact he's doing it now is just I said, like the sequel to Rudy is horrible. Like this is not what we were going for here. It's just everything against sports. So he's making that move. But the crazy part of the sport is he's looking and saying, I have a better chance of winning a national championship. I'm 60 years old. I'm a very, very good coach. I have a better chance of winning a national championship by going and taking over an LSU program that is 500 the last 2 seasons than actually coaching in the playoffs this year with a program that is 44-6 over the last 4 to make their 3rd playoff appearance. That's how important it is to have the elite level recruits that you can get at LSU, but you just can't really get at Notre Dame.
Well,
so that's where the sport's at.
Well, part of that may be, the provost that's there in South Bend, and Notre Dame definitely has different aspects of their program that other schools around the country, certainly like LSU, I don't believe have. So I kind of see all that, but the question I have is, was there a take it or leave it? You've got 24 hours, 48 hours deal on the table for Brian Kelly. Why wouldn't he play this thing out? Because if he did play it out to see if they have a college football playoff, that certainly LSU wouldn't wait 4 more weeks to fill their role, right? There's recruiting that's going on right now, Dan?
It seems we'll find out more as this hashes out, but it would seem like you had to make that move right now. You at least wait 5 days, right? But the nature of this thing is everything moves very, very fast. And there's recruiting signing days in 2 weeks. They very foolishly created an early quote unquote signing day, which totally sends this every year into tumult and has kids signing with programs that don't even have coaches. And terrible idea, but they do it. But I would guess LSU said, you take this offer now or not, and we'll go in another direction. And Brian Kelly took it. We'll see, though. It happened very, very quickly. Brian Kelly was in a recruit's home recruiting for Notre Dame yesterday. Then walked out, took the job.
Come on.
And then tried to fly home.
Come on. Are you serious?
Yeah. It's close to the all-timer, which was when Tommy Tuberville was at Texas Tech and was at a meeting, at a recruiting dinner with a family, took a call, accepted the Cincinnati job, and then just left, just ghosted them in the restaurant. Love it. That's the all-timer, but this is close.
Wow. Dan, I've got one for you on the opposite side of that spectrum. Rod Woodson, my buddy, Pro Football Hall of Famer, told me that when he was recruited, Mr. Indiana in football, coming out of the great state of Indiana that we're talking about right now, that Lee Corso was the coach of Indiana football and recruited him thusly, showed up to his front door, said, Rod, I've just been fired as head coach of Indiana football, but you should still go there. It's a great place. That's why he didn't.
Corso, yeah.
And thus, he went to Purdue because he wanted to stay at home. So it's unbelievable. That's, I guess, maybe the opposite end of that.
That would be the opposite. It was a more simpler time, and and Lee Corso is a great man.
Well, I'll tell you this, Dan. Let's have this conversation.
This is a different sport now.
Of course, but let's have that conversation then. Dan Wetzel of Yahoo here on the Rich Eisen Show. I don't want to hear another human being complain when a college football player does not play in his bowl game because there's nothing, quote unquote, left to play for, and we're supposed to sit here and say you got to play for the school, you got to play for your pride, you got to play for your teammates when they've got an NFL career going, and college football head coaches are showing up and recruiting somebody in their house and then saying I'm out. And he has every right to do that. And he's doing this for his family and his career. What about players? This is professional sports now, Dan.
Yeah, well, fortunately, they finally gave up on the and allow the transfer portal, and that took years and years of a lot of yelling at college athletics to allow that. But at least the players can leave too, and they can leave right after. I mean, Lincoln Riley, he wasn't recruiting hours before he took a job. He was literally coaching to get in the Big 12 championship game. Right, walks out of the locker room and basically takes the USC job. So all of this stuff happens, and at least now the players can also leave. They're all free to go, and they can go somewhere else and play next season. There's no sitting out. But clearly, that charade that the loyalty had to be one way and only one way was always outrageous, and it becomes more and more outrageous as it goes. Brian Kelly has every single right to go take whatever job he wants, and he did. The players should have the right to go, hey, I want to follow him, or I only came to Notre Dame for this reason, or I want to go whatever school I want to go to now. So it's got to be a two-way street, and at least now we're on that path where it is a two-way street.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.